Hello, welcome, Cabbage here. Let's react to and analyze the trailer for the Duskbloods, which is looking like Bloodborne 2 in spirit. I watched about 24 people react to this trailer, and then what I heard most here was Castlevania, or Resident Evil, or Devil May Cry. But then I heard the voice here.
I give you my blood.
And I was like, that sounds an awful lot like the voice actress for the doll
I give you my life.
from Bloodborne.
Turn.
But I still wasn't convinced that it was Bloodborne because, it would be easy for another company maybe to hire that voice actress.
Night of moonlight to humanity's very dusk.
Alright, and then let's stop the tape here. So I saw this symbol, I didn't know what it was at the time, but after, getting through the trailer, and then thinking about it, and then thinking like maybe if this were Bloodborne 2 or like nodding towards the lore, and the characters and the history and all that of Bloodborne, then this might be Logarius's wheel. And so what I interpret this to be is that this character sitting in the chair is a vampire or a vile blood from Bloodborne, and that the executioners, led by Logarius, got this guy and killed him and branded him. And that this character that is reaching upwards with the Maria, the doll voice actress, is saying that she will, give her blood, give her life to kind of resurrect this guy. All right, we'll have the tape go again. And so it's making me wonder if this guy in the chair, if that is like Gehrman, or if that is Ludwig even. And this was funny. I actually blinked or something, and I totally missed that FromSoftware here. Okay, but we'll stop there. I totally missed the FromSoftware reveal, so I went through this whole trailer not knowing that it was FromSoftware. And I was thinking like, is this another company sort of aping the style? But yeah, afterwards, when they said that this was a FromSoftware game, then I was like, oh my goodness, yes. But yeah, here is the reveal of the world, and it sure looks like Bloodborne, including the clock tower from the DLC, I think. Alright, we'll begin the tape again. And then we get a cool train here, and then people were like, oh, this is like steampunk. But I felt like the original Bloodborne already had elements of steampunk in it. Not a lot. It was mostly in the weapons that you use, like I would say the boom hammer is steampunk. I would say the pile driver, whatever it's called, pile bunker, I would call that steampunk as well, and then some of the guns also. But there seem to be more elements of steampunk in this, the Duskbloods, so maybe it's difficult to like place them on a timeline with each other. And then my theory is that overall this game is like maybe a prequel. Maybe it's talking about the old hunters, or like the people that founded a lot of the like the organizations or the whatever it is from Bloodborne. So in that way it would be timeline earlier, but I wouldn't get like too hung up on that since this is not technically Bloodborne 2. Maybe like a remix and then offering a like a what if history. All right, and then here we have a church scene. And then interesting here is that that stained window up at the top, it's broken at the bottom, which is like we, in the DLC of Bloodborne, we fight Maria at the top of the clock tower, and then we break the window to go through to the fishing village. That might be a reference towards that. All right, and then we have this guy. I'm assuming this is the same one that was sitting in the chair, now alive. And I'm guessing this is the main character, the playable character. But then, like, going through this game, or going through the trailer and looking at all the characters, I don't know how many of the characters are playable characters, and if there are classes, maybe similar to Night Rain, that we can sort of, modify to a certain degree, but not total freedom. One of the reasons why I don't like Bloodborne as much as the other Souls games is that there is a lack of customization and then like sort of battle styles. And then like Duskbloods here, maybe it'll have something similar, You choose from a roster of like pre-constructed characters that you can, change their costumes and weapons and stuff to a certain degree, but not a total degree. So in that sense, it'll have a little bit more like character variety than Bloodborne, but not as much as, say, Dark Souls or Elden Ring. All right, and then we got the bats flying around. And then here, this looks more like an open world type of Bloodborne. And I was saying before, the next Bloodborne I was hoping would be more open world like Elden Ring. And then maybe that is what we're getting here. All right, and then we have an unknown bald character here. Again, maybe this is referencing Bloodborne, like the old characters that don't show up. Maybe this is Logarius. Maybe this is some head of the Healing Church or something, founder of the Healing Church. I don't know. And then here we get a kind of a Tom Hiddleston looking kind of character. He looks very cool. All leather, and then with the katana. And I'm going to guess he's also another playable character that maybe we can choose from. Or maybe it'll be like Castlevania 3, where you start as one character and you adventure around and you recruit other characters and you can choose to use them in certain places. I don't know. And then here we have a character in a Vietnamese sort of looking getup. And then also in Bloodborne, they reference the Land of Reeds. And so maybe this character is from there. And so that's kind of a cool way to pull in that sort of unexplored world from Bloodborne, put it in this game. All right, and then we have here another sort of Eastern-looking character. I am hoping that this is a playable character, but it's probably more of a boss or an NPC. I don't know. And then this guy, he's cool. He's like in the tradition of like Sigward, or like people that wear like goofy armor. But this guy, if we go back to the Bloodborne lore again, he might be part of the like the crazy inventor group. I forget the name. I'll put it up in the on the screen in a subtitle. But like the people that made like the spear rifle, my favorite weapon in Bloodborne. Maybe he is part of that. Looks like he's just got like really janky weapons, janky armor, and like kind of doing makeshift weapons there. But then to add to the steampunkness, he's got a jetpack shooting out steam. I thought this was pretty funny and cool. And then we have another sort of like androgynous character here, which shows up in most FromSoft games. Very interested in how this character is going to play out. Maybe another playable character. And then this guy kind of looks like an automatron boss, probably. Might be cool, though, as another playable character. And then here we get this jump from the vampire character. And I'm wondering, like, you know, can this character fly anywhere? Can they maybe just jump anywhere? And then all of the other characters, can they also fly and jump anywhere? Or will it be limited to, like, this vampire character and maybe the jetpack character? I'm very interested about the exploration aspects of this game. Alright, and then we get a bite, and we get a very dramatic kind of blood suck thing. Some more Bloodborne-y looking rooms and underground. I love underground and sewer levels. And then here, this might be like a crazy beast frozen in ice. That seems to be a kind of a trope that shows up in like Victorian or romantic literature. And then here it looks like we have some co-op. This might be summoning a like an NPC or summoning another human player. And then this game, it's described as like 8 players fighting against each other or fighting with each other. I'm not that interested in that aspect of it, so hopefully this game has a good, strong solo experience. I expect that it will in some form. Alright, we got jumping. That might be taken from Elden Ring, and then we got a rapid-fire gun. It'll be interesting to see if they stick to like the kind of the limited, like farmable ammo from Bloodborne, or if they just give you infinite. I would prefer infinite.
I pray that you are able, carrier of blood.
And then here we have a scene, kind of looks like a cleric beast fighting in a burning forest. And then yeah, that voice actor sounds like Gehrman, doesn't it? Gehrman, or maybe one of the characters from that flashback in Bloodborne, where they talk about the fear of the old blood. And then here, this looks a lot like Maria riding on a headless horse. I don't know if we're going to get a mount. That would be interesting. Or maybe only certain characters come with a mount. I don't know. And then we got a guy changing into a dinosaur. I'm guessing that's a boss, but it might be a playable character as well. It's eating a playable character, I think the Vietnamese one that we saw earlier. And then this guy, he seems like the most unremarkable, but he might be, you know, one of the old hunters, or he might be one of the people that started everything. Maybe it's like Lawrence, you know, the first vicar. And we got the Vietnamese character again. This looks like a train station. And we got the androgynous character doing magic. And then maybe a boss here. And then this guy, he made me think of like the choir from the Healing Church, because they have that that hat, that mask that covers your eyes. And then also he's doing the gesture for contact with the outer gods or the extraterrestrials. So that's kind of a nod there. Not exact, you know, but similar, because it's not Bloodborne technically. Alright, and then I do not know what this mouse bird thing is with like Elden Ring type looking runes. But we did get the information that this is indeed directed by Miyazaki. And then tomorrow there will be a kind of a letter from him explaining more about the game. I was debating making this video now or later, but I'll just do it now and I can do another one afterwards. And then in that video maybe I'll talk about how it's very funny that Nintendo got this game, whereas Sony did nothing with the IP. Alright, let me know what you're thinking about the game. I'm definitely going to have to get a Switch 2 at this point. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again. Take care.